Hi everybody, it's Meg from Books Off the Beaten Path, and it's time for another early morning book review. I know you're excited. Pull your coffee up, pull your chair up, whatever you need to do. Sit back and let me review this book for you. The Seven Wonders of the World by Lowell Thomas. Now, let me give you a little bit of background on this. This book, obviously I'm up to my usual games. This book was copyright in 1956, and they were exploring a new type of making films, and it was called Cinerama. And when I was a young girl, we had an amusement park in my town called Bell's Amusement Park. And there was a ride, it wasn't really a ride, but it was kind of billed as a ride, that what you would do is you would go into this room that was a circle. And there were movie screens all around in the circle. And you would go on a roller coaster, and you would go down a waterfall, and you would go all this kind of stuff. And because the screens were all around, it made you feel like you were actually doing those things. Well, that is what Cinerama was trying to do. So he got involved in this project. Now, I don't think the project was very successful. I haven't looked it up, I will admit that, but I've never heard of Cinerama. I mean, maybe you guys have, but I've never heard of Cinerama, unless that's what I was experiencing when I was going to this little amusement park when I was a child, Cinerama. But anyway, so they decided to go out and they wanted to film the seven wonders of the world that, one, were still in existence, and two, may not have met the criteria of the seven wonders of the world, because, you know, there were different lists and everything like that, which I didn't know that. And, you know, like they went to India, and they went to the tea fields of Darjeeling, and that's not considered one of the seven wonders of the world, but it was to them because they've got this little train that they rode up on and everything. Okay, 3 stars. Lloyd got 3 stars. Lowell got 3 stars. And the reason he got 3 stars is because I was more interested in the actual making of Cinerama. And he was more into the history of the places. Now, if you're a history buff, you would love it. You would love it. I want to be a history buff. You know, I've mentioned before on this channel that I want to be, you know, more intelligent, and I want to have a better grasp of things and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know, maybe the train has sailed or the ship has docked out of the station. I don't know. But I just didn't find that part that interesting. Like when they would actually go when he went to Saudi Arabia, and he met with these sheiks, and it was right after they had discovered oil in Saudi Arabia, and so the sheiks were extremely wealthy, and they didn't know what to do with this wealth. And I'm not knocking them or anything like that, but they were buying a lot of Cadillacs, and they were, you know, just really buying all this kind of expensive, frilly stuff. That to me was fascinating when he met with the sheiks and what that was like and everything. And he has this one section where he talks about, you know, those little cups they serve coffee. I don't know how anybody gets any sleep in Saudi Arabia, because they were always drinking coffee, and it was strong coffee, he was saying too, but the little tiny white cups. And so he held the little tiny white cup in his hand, and the sheik was seated, and the sheik was standing over him, and the sheik just poured the coffee from where his shoulder length would pour it like that, and didn't spill a drop, and didn't get any on him. And it was a pretty amazing feat. And for some reason, I just found that fascinating. I just, see, I'm as shallow as a pond. Anyway, well, there's nothing more fun than to get up and tell everybody that you're stupid. But I'm not stupid, but I found it boring at times. I mean, there's pictures in here, there's all sorts of pictures in here, and that was really fascinating. And they talked about, they had the Cinerama Clipper, which was the plane they flew around in because their camera equipment was so large. Here are some of the pictures they took. Fascinating. And it just wasn't for me. I mean, a history buff would love it. If you're a history buff, if you're a film buff, you would love it. But it was less film, more history. And I just found it a little boring at times, a little bit of a slog to get through. But that's all I have to say about that. I mean, I admire him going all over the world. I don't know what ever happened to the footage. I don't know if you can look it up on YouTube or if you guys are familiar with Lowell Thomas. Apparently he was very big on the radio, and so this was a big leap for him to go into the filmmaking world. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that, and I'm going to stop getting on to myself. I'm not stupid. It wasn't my thing. I'm not that interested in that. But I get to pick a new book tonight, and I don't know what that's going to be yet. I have several options. And so I may do a short video tonight before I go to bed. I have to go to a meeting after work, and so I don't know if I'll be up for it. But I will definitely show you, at least tomorrow, some of my selections. I think I want to read something a little bit shorter and a little bit more fast-paced. Definitely more fast-paced. So, 3 stars for 7 Wonders of the World by Lowell Thomas. And that's all you need to know about that one, and I will check you later.